Hi, I'm Kara Pogrebo. Welcome to Bright Hope Creations. Today I'm making an office spinner card and I'm using Art Impressions chair spinner, and it comes with dies with it, and it's the front and back and a sentiment as well. And then I'm using Basic Grays Out of Print and Echo Park's This and That. They probably are both out of print now because it was a 2011 and 2012. All right, so here is from MFT the stitched rectangle scalloped edge frame and the stitched rectangle. I'm taking out the foam pad because these are cling foam rubber stamps, and I'm stamping them in Memento Tuxedo Black ink so that I can color them with Copics. And I'm getting a good impression, and I'm going to start with an E00 for her skin, and I'm finding the shadows using my lightest color, and then I'm coming in over those shadows with a bit darker, the E21, and then I'll blend that out with an E00, and I'm not gonna put too much detail into her skin because it's not the focus, I don't think, but I want a good contrast because there's not a lot showing, so what there is, I want it to have a real difference between the shadows and the rest of the skin. So that's an E23, and then I'll blend that back out with the E21 and then with an E00. Her hair is up in a band, and so I want to figure out where I want the direction of the hair to go, so I'm figuring that out with my lightest, an E21, to decide how that's going to lay, and I do that on the front and the back. I'm going to focus on the front of this image today just for time's sake, but I wanted to show you this here because this is kind of one of those areas that helps is to kind of just figure out the direction before I start putting in too much color. So now that's what I'm doing. I'm going over those areas that I figured out for the direction and giving her some shading then in her hair. And I'll do this all with lines. The whole coloring is just a series of lines. This, I think, is as dark as I go. I find that if I go in with a lot of lines and then come back with the lighter shades and blend those out, that I have a good suggestion of hair. So now I'm coming in a little lighter and I'm just extending the dark shadow hair out further. You can see it's starting to take shape. And then just give her the final highlights in the E21. And then that's the blending there. So it kind of gets it down. Of course, then I feel like I need to come back in and darken up the shadows that I have blended out. And of course, this is a small area as well, so I really want to make a definition between the dark and the light so that it's very clear. It gives the impact. I'm going to show you the final details on the back of her hair as well. Just how much adding the little bit of dark coming back in really helps to give it the definition. And then I colored the chair. I put a light cool gray on the frame of the chair, and now I'm just coloring in the wheels. This is a C4 with a C6 as the shadow, and then I'll come back in and blend that in with the C4. And her collar is going to be white, so I want to give her some shadow on that, and then also in her teeth just the back part that it's not as white as the front. So now I can start on her suit. She's wearing a very flattering pink suit. And I want to get the shadows down with the RV21. So I'm finding out where that would be dark. So my light source is on the right, so the left side's going to be dark. But then also where there are folds, so under her jacket, on the skirt, and where her knees bend, and down by the chair seat, under her shoes, any kind of folds that you would find. And then everywhere that I just went with the lightest, I'm going to bring in the next darkest and just follow that along. I don't show you that all, but that's what I do. And I like that, but I think let's go darker. So I do the same exact thing with the R25. Come in and just follow those lines so that I have kind of mapped out my shadows. And some of the coloring that I do, well, here I'm blending it back out, and you can see the way my hand is kind of jiggling. That's to get not a real solid straight line. It helps with the blending. R25 and RV25 and RV23, for me, don't blend on my paper so well. So I will actually come back in and do the tip-to-tip technique. But I'm going to blend it all out first and see it, and then decide, okay, these lines are too prominent, they're not blending. That's where I will come in with the tip-to-tip. So here's the second, or the lightest color, to blend all the way out. And you can see I'm not coloring the whole image yet. I'm really focusing on getting those shadows just right. If I go in and I just color the whole thing, which I will with this color, then it seems to have less of a contrast instead of just the quick swipe at the end with my lightest. So here's that tip to tip, and I'm taking the lighter of the two, the RV23, and touching it onto the RV25 and bringing that down and blending it out enough that I lose some of that when they're together, and I just end up with the RV23 to blend out my mixture of the two. I think you can see that as I go here. And that made a lot of difference in getting this to blend and not having that line that you sometimes see between your two Copics. Even though you blend, sometimes you still see a line, and this really helps in those cases. And now I'm coming in and filling everything in. Blending out from where I had that RV23, and then just filling the whole thing. Sometimes I'll come from the RV23 and blend out towards the middle, and sometimes if I want it light, then I'll come from the white end and blend towards the darker. Blend, I guess, just color towards the darker. And here I'm coming in with the darkest, the RV29, and finding those darkest spots. So the inside of her skirt, the bottoms of her shoes, and I'll show you on both sides because, again, that's where the real definition occurs. So you can see a little bit inside her suit on the back, here where her head is in front of her arm, and that collar, pronounce that collar a little bit better. Yes, under there. And then where the suit jacket comes down, and by the chair. And that's, again, where the suit jacket comes down, where she's bending, and next to the chair. That's straight RV29, so it really makes a difference. I'll come in and blend some of that out, but I won't blend too much out because I don't want to lose it. I just want to make sure that the areas that need to get smoothed out a bit. And blend that in or out just a little bit more where the RV25 was. But again, I'm not going to do too much. This is that final stage, so I don't want to blend it away. And then coming in with the lightest, the RV21, one more time. And now I'm going to start on her chair. And I'm following the color over on the side of the paper that I'm going to be using. And this is a G000 coming in with the shadows with the 00. It's a small space, so I didn't start with shadows. I just colored the image. And now I'm coming in with the shadows with the G00. And my darkest for that is a G02. And this is an interesting color group, this G0s. They're kind of a minty blue, but not a blue-green like the BGs. It's just it's a very different color. I like it. I don't use it a whole lot, but I do like it. Obviously it goes well with this paper, so that's why I'm using it. Blending it out, the G00. Or this is the 000. And then, final touch, I'm giving her some lipstick. Should have given her some cheek color here too, but I just didn't. Anyway, there she is all cut out. And I also cut that stitched rectangle out from both the pattern paper and the front of the card. And now I'm going to get some strong adhesive on the inside, and I'm taking that off and I'm gluing spots that I don't have the adhesive on just because I want this to adhere solidly. So it's one piece. I'm going to take some, this is like a silver thread, and I want to make sure that's right where it's going to twirl, and get the front on there and make sure it's adhered very well, and there it goes. I love it. All right. To adhere it, I'm putting on some, again, very strong adhesives, some score tape, and I put 2 pieces there, and I'm folding it down on the score tape. And I actually put an extra piece on there. I don't know that you need to do that, but just for good measure, put on another piece of the score tape, clip off the excess, and there it spins. So now this can be adhered to the front of the card. And I'm sure there's other ways to put a spinner on your card. This is just what works for me. So I'm putting that on there, and then I want to have a frame around it. So I glue that on the front, and then I'm going to glue it on the back as well, so it has a nice opening. There. I'm going to adhere that inside the card. I wanted her to have a green background, and then I'm going to stamp the sentiment in the corner there, and I'm stamping that in Catherine Pooler Seafoam ink. And there it is. So wind up your image, and when you open the card, she spins. I love it. She's so funny. I just think she's great. Well, I hope you enjoyed the spinner card today. And if you did, if you could please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. And I hope you have a great day.